You want revenge, don't you? I can feel it in the way your hands clench when you think of them, in the way your jaw tightens when their name comes up. They hurt you. They betrayed you. They laughed while you bled. And now every fiber of your being is screaming for payback, for destruction, for the kind of reckoning that will make them regret every single time they underestimated you. I get it. I do. You want them to suffer. You want them to feel what you felt, to choke on the same poison they fed you. You want to see fear in their eyes, to watch their world collapse like they tried to collapse yours. You want justice, you want balance, you want blood. But let me tell you something they don't want you to know. Revenge isn't rage. Revenge isn't chaos. Revenge isn't screaming into the void until your throat is raw and your hands are stained with the past. No, that's what they expect. That's what they want. Because if you let yourself be consumed by vengeance, if you let them turn you into a mirror of their own ugliness, they win. They get to say, see, they were never better than me. And you hand them that victory gift, wrapped in your own downfall. So listen to me, and listen carefully. The best revenge isn't fire. It isn't destruction. It isn't becoming a monster just to fight one. The best revenge is silence. The best revenge is indifference. The best revenge is peace. Because that's what will eat them alive. You think they want to see you strong? Number. They want to see you broken, crawling, begging for acknowledgement, for closure, for something that makes what they did matter. They want to live in your mind, to own your emotions, to keep you shackled to the pain they inflicted. But when you choose silence, when you choose to walk away without a second glance, oh, that kills them more than anything you could ever do. You see, people like them, they thrive on reaction. They need to know they still have control, that they can still pull your strings, still manipulate your emotions. So they poke, they prod, they wait for the outburst, for the explosion, for the proof that they left a mark that will never fade. And every time you react, every time you let them see the anger, the hurt, the need for revenge, you feed them. You nourish their ego, you confirm their power. But when you refuse to play the game, when you don't flinch, when you act as if they don't exist, as if their name is dust in the wind, that's when the real suffering begins. Because nothing is more unbearable than irrelevance. They wanted to break you. They wanted to matter. But now they're left screaming into an abyss that doesn't echo back. And that, my dear, is a torment they will never escape. So let them talk, let them wonder, let them spin their little webs, hoping you'll get tangled in them. But you move in silence, you build in silence, you win in silence. And when they finally realize that they are nothing more than a footnote in the story of your life, when they see that their greatest crime against you didn't even leave a scar worth mentioning, that is the moment they lose. That is the moment they become the very thing they tried to make you feel. Small, insignificant, forgotten. You think revenge is about proving something? About making them see your worth? Number, the second you need them to see anything, you've already lost. Real revenge is knowing you don't need them to see. Real revenge is never looking back. Real revenge is standing so high above them that their existence is nothing more than a distant memory, a shadow you stepped over on your way to something greater. But I know what you're thinking. That's not enough, is it? You want to see them suffer. You want to see the regret in their eyes. You want to hear the apologies, the desperate attempts to make it right. But that's the trap, don't you see? The moment you need their regret, you're still tied to them. You're still letting them define you. And that's not power. That's not revenge. That's weakness dressed up in the illusion of strength. So stop waiting for their guilt. Stop waiting for their pain. Stop waiting for some grand moment where they finally understand what they did to you. They won't. They never will. And even if they did, so what? It wouldn't change a damn thing. Let them live in their own little world, clinging to the belief that they still matter to you. Let them sit with the unanswered questions, with the silence that stretches on forever. Let them lie awake at night, wondering why you never came back, why you never sought revenge, why you never played the game they so desperately wanted you to play. And when they finally realize the truth, that they were never worth your time, your energy, your payment will be too late. They will have destroyed themselves waiting for a war that never came. Because in the end, the best revenge isn't fire, it isn't fury, it isn't destruction. It's peace. It's silence. It's the absolute certainty that no matter what they did, they never had the power to ruin you. And that will haunt them forever. And that's what makes them crumble. Not your anger, not your hatred, not some grand act of vengeance they can fight back against. Number, it's the emptiness, the absence, the undeniable truth that they don't matter anymore. You see, people can handle hate. They know what to do with it. They can argue with it, manipulate it, twist it into something they can control. But silence, indifference, that leaves them alone with themselves. And trust me, that's a place they never wanted to be. They wanted to be the center of your thoughts. They wanted to be the reason you lost sleep, the reason you carried pain, the reason you spent years trying to fix something that was never worth fixing. But now they have to sit in a room filled with their own echoes, with the weight of their own insignificance pressing down on them. They have to wonder why you're not looking back, why you're not reaching out, why you're not wasting your life trying to even the score. And it terrifies them. Because if you've moved on, if you've truly let go, then that means they were never as important as they believed. That means they were never as powerful as they imagined. That means the only person they really hurt in the end was themselves. So let them sit in it. Let them drown in their own irrelevance. You don't need to see it. You don't need proof. You don't need closure. Their suffering isn't your responsibility. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to lift a single finger. They destroy themselves, waiting for a war that never arrives, waiting for your rage, waiting for your downfall, waiting for the moment they can point and say, "See, I still matter." But that moment never comes, and that is what breaks them. You walking away without a word, without a second thought, without an ounce of emotion, is the deepest wound you could ever leave, because it's permanent, because it tells them in no uncertain terms that their chapter in your life is over. They will replay the past in their heads, searching for the moment they lost their grip, for the second they became nothing to you. And the longer they search, the deeper they fall into the pit they dug for themselves. That is why peace is the best revenge. Because it leaves them restless. Because it leaves them haunted. Because it gives them nothing to hold on to, nothing to fight against, nothing to twist into their own version of the truth. You take away their ability to rewrite the story. You take away their ability to be the victim, to be the hero, to be anything at all. They become a ghost, screaming in a world that no longer hears them. So, don't give them a reason to think they still matter. Don't look for ways to prove your worth to people who never deserve to see it. Don't waste your energy trying to make them feel what you felt. They never will. Their mind doesn't work like yours. If it did, they never would have hurt you in the first place. The only thing they will ever understand is loss. And not the kind that comes from a fight. Not the kind that comes from a dramatic confrontation where they finally see your rage in all its glory. No, that's too easy for them. That still gives them a role to play. That still feeds their ego. Real loss is knowing they don't exist to you anymore. Real loss is seeing you thrive, seeing you happy, seeing you untouchable while they rot in the same cycle they tried to trap you in. Real loss is realizing that they threw you away thinking you would chase after them, thinking you would break, thinking you would crumble under the weight of what they did, and instead you disappeared. You became a phantom, someone they can't reach, can't hurt, can't affect. And that, more than anything, will eat them alive. You want revenge? Walk away. You want justice? Let them live with the consequences of their own actions. You want to win? Live a life so full, so powerful, so untouchable, that they become nothing more than a footnote in your history. Because the truth is, the past doesn't deserve you. They don't deserve you. And the moment you realize that, the moment you embrace the silence, the moment you refuse to look back, that's the moment you're free. That's the moment you win. And that's when you'll understand the truth. They never had power over you, not really. The only power they ever had was the power you gave them, the attention you wasted, the emotions you let them pull from you like a puppet on strings. But once you take that back, once you refuse to give them even a second of your time, they shrink into nothing. Because people like that, the ones who hurt you, the ones who fed off your pain, they don't survive in silence. They don't know what to do without an audience. They need to be acknowledged, to be feared, to be hated, They need you to react, to prove to them that they still matter, that their words, their actions, their betrayals left a scar deep enough to define you. But when you don't react, when you don't acknowledge them at all, that's when the reality hits them like a brick to the skull. They didn't break you. They didn't destroy you. They didn't leave a mark worth remembering. And that is worse than anything else you could have done to them. Because now they have to face the one thing they never wanted to confront themselves. They have to sit in the silence and wonder why you're not chasing them, why you're not fighting, why you're not carrying their name in your mouth like a curse. They have to ask themselves why they're still thinking about you when you've erased them completely. And it will drive them insane. Because people like that, they don't reflect, they don't grow, they don't change. They only take, they only destroy, they only manipulate. And when there's no one left to play their game, when there's no one left to fight, they self-destruct. They always do. It's only a matter of time. So let them wonder. Let them break. Let them fall apart under the weight of their own emptiness. You don't need to see it. You don't need to hear about it. You don't need to be there when the walls they built to keep out their own misery finally collapse in on them. Because by then, you'll be too far ahead, too far removed, too untouchable. And that is what real power looks like. Not anger, not vengeance, not proving anything to anyone. Just walking away with your head held high, knowing they can never touch you again, knowing they are trapped in a reality where you don't exist, knowing that their greatest fear has come true, you don't care. And that's when you'll feel it. That moment of absolute clarity, when you finally understand that the best revenge was never about making them pay. It was never about hurting them the way they hurt you. It was about freeing yourself from the weight of their existence. It was about moving forward while they stayed behind. It was about becoming something they will never be, peace. Because that's the irony of it all, isn't it? They spent so much time trying to pull you into their chaos, trying to make you lose control, trying to keep you tied to them through pain. But in the end, they only doomed themselves. You walked away, and now they have to live with themselves. And that is a punishment far worse than anything you could have delivered. Because you get to live, you get to rise, you get to be free. And them, they stay exactly where they are stuck in the mess they created, waiting for a battle that will never come. And that's the part they never saw coming. They thought you'd waste your life trying to prove something to them, trying to get even, trying to make them feel what you felt. They thought they'd live in your head rent-free forever. But now they see the truth. You never needed revenge. You never needed them to suffer. You just needed to let go. Because the second you stopped caring, the second you stopped giving them space in your mind, they lost. And you won without ever lifting a finger. That's what will haunt them, not your rage, not your retaliation, just the cold, hard fact that they don't matter. They'll try to pull you back in. They always do. Maybe they'll test the waters with an apology, something empty, something rehearsed, hoping you'll take the bait. Maybe they'll come back with a different tactic, play the victim this time, act like they're the ones who were wronged, hoping you'll feel guilty, hoping you'll let them back in just long enough for them to sink their claws in again. Or maybe, just maybe, they'll lash out, because when silence doesn't work, when manipulation fails, all they have left is destruction. But none of it will work. Not anymore. Because you see them now. You see through them. You know exactly who they are, and you know exactly what they want. And the best part, you don't care. You've outgrown them. You've left them behind. They are nothing. And they feel it. So let them scream. Let them beg. Let them plot. Let them rage. Let them spiral into their own misery. It's not your problem. It never was. They made their choices, and now they get to live with them. They get to sit with the consequences, the loneliness, the emptiness. They get to watch from the sidelines as you build a life they will never be a part of. And that, more than anything, will break them. Because deep down, they always believed they were irreplaceable. They thought they had a permanent hold on you. They thought no matter what they did, no matter how far you walked away, they could always pull you back. But now they see the truth. They were just a lesson. A chapter you closed without looking back. A mistake you'll never make again. And you're untouchable now. Free, unbothered, alive. That's real revenge. That's what they'll never recover from. Not losing you, but knowing they already lost. And now they're stuck with it. The reality, the silence, the weight of their own irrelevance. Because while you move forward, while you build, while you thrive, they stay exactly where you left them, searching for something that no longer exists, searching for a version of you that they had power over. But that version is gone, dead, buried. They don't get to hurt you anymore. They don't get to affect you. They don't get to be part of your life, your thoughts, your future. That door is closed, locked, sealed shut forever. And the worst part, they know it. They feel it every time they reach for you and find nothing. Every time they try to get under your skin and are met with indifference. Every time they wonder if you ever think about them and realize the answer is no. They will never admit it, of course. Their pride won't let them. They'll pretend they don't care, pretend they've moved on, pretend they're better off. But inside, the truth will eat them alive. Because deep down, they know they lost the best thing they could have had. They lost someone real. They lost someone who once cared, someone who once gave them a chance, someone who once saw something in them worth saving. And now they have to live with the fact that they ruined it, that they destroyed the one thing they thought they'd always have, your presence. Let that be their punishment. Let that be their hell. Because they don't deserve your anger. They don't deserve your hate. Those things still require energy, still require attention. And they deserve nothing from you. Not your love, not your rage, not your time. Just silence. And that silence, that will echo in their mind forever. Because they expected a war. They expect fight. They expected a battle that would keep you tied to them, bound to the same cycle of pain and resentment. But instead, you disappeared. Instead, you left them in the past where they belong. And now they have to wake up every day knowing you exist in a world where they no longer matter. Knowing that their words, their actions, their betrayals were nothing more than a temporary inconvenience, something you brushed off on your way to something greater. That is the revenge they never saw coming. That is the fate they can never escape. And you don't have to do a damn thing. Just live. Just move on. Just be at peace. 'Cause nothing will ever hurt them more than that. And that's the part they'll never recover from. Not the loss itself, but the realization that they were the ones who caused it. That their own actions sealed their fate. That the one person who once saw something in them, who once gave them a chance, who once cared simply stopped. It will hit them in quiet moments, when they're alone, when the distractions fade, when there's nothing left to drown out the thoughts they refuse to face. It will creep up on them like a slow poison, filling the spaces where your presence used to be, turning the silence into something unbearable. They will wonder if you ever think of them. They will hope, even after all this time, that they still linger somewhere in your mind, that they still hold a fraction of the power they once did. And when they realize the truth, that they are nothing to you now, we will hollow them out from the inside. Because this was never about love or friendship or anything real to them. It was about control. It was about power. It was about keeping you tethered, even in pain, even in hate, even in war. But you took that away. You took everything they thought they had over you and made it worthless. No fight, no closure, no final words to give them one last taste of relevance. Just silence. And that silence, that void, that complete and utter dismissal of their existence is what will haunt them for the rest of their days. They will try to fill it with distractions, with noise, with temporary replacements that will never come close to what they lost. They will surround themselves with people who stroke their ego, who tell them what they want to hear, who give them the illusion of control. But it won't last. It never does. Because nothing will change the truth. Nothing will erase the fact that you walked away and never looked back. They will stalk your life from the shadows, searching for cracks, hoping for signs that you're still affected, still wounded, still caught in the wreckage they left behind. But they won't find any. Because you are free. Because you have risen. Because their name, their face, their entire existence holds no weight in your world anymore. And that, more than anything, will break them. Because when all is said and done, when time has passed, and the dust has settled, they will have to face the one thing they never prepared for their own insignificance. You don't have to hurt them. You don't have to wish them pain. You don't have to lift a single finger. They will do it to themselves. And you will be too far ahead to even notice, too far gone to care, too untouchable for them to ever reach again. That is the final nail in their coffin. Not revenge, not retribution, just the undeniable fact that they lost you. And nothing will ever be more devastating than that.